Amitabha Buddha greetings to all the people. People are waking up this morning. The first idea is, do people remember the Buddha? People remember the Buddha, but do people have the heart to pray for the dead? The topic is 2. Before the great shared learning, the great memories of the Buddha, a couple of sentences to connect with the masses. Non tissue do Buddha. Non tissue do Buddha. Non tissue do Buddha. I ask Amitabha Buddha to send me to the West. Non tissue do Buddha. Non tissue do Buddha. Non tissue do Buddha. Ladies and gentlemen, before they shared their learning with the masses, the great Buddhist concept, the great things vow to be born. Every time I recite the Buddha, I pray for him. Modern. Imagine you're sitting on a lotus flower. You're kind of like Buddha's guidance to the ecstasy of the Western world. The idea that it's fun, it's comfortable. Every time, share your learning with you. That's what happens. That it's fun. Even the person that I never accidentally heard, listening deliberately but naturally listening. Remembrance. It's also about planting. That's where they are. Then, it should be today. The student will continue to study with you. The next generation will read in the quote, Sleepwalking of Master Ham SN. Invite the masses. Let's listen together. Listen to a passage of his teaching. Education has no other special ability. We just have to make it grow. Wear and tear karma. Over time, it becomes a natural mass. Every thought is a movement, where it's also ecstasy. Recently, I've noticed that the director only knows magical desires. I don't know the secret. There is no determination at the base. Until you meet the disgrace. Life and death scourge. I saw them running wild with their hands and feet. It wasn't made by someone else. They do it themselves. The bear is dead. It's all about dying in our everyday lives. The disturbing karma. Love, self-hate, desire, hot anger, delusion. If there is an unfinished tomorrow, that is the root from which. Today is Japan. Read a passage. You said that. It's not a particularly strange ability to learn. As the Japanese say, that's my weird special. Really, this pure method, it's not particularly weird. The strange of this pure-blooded subject is that anyone can also recite the Buddha. And more importantly, it's also possible to pray for life. Surely they are all born. What is this method called? Religion is a religion. France is a religion. It's strange compared to all of those other methods. Today, through this stage, we see education has no other special ability. It's just about making power grow. To our reciters of the Buddha, for the one who earnestly vows about our birth and death, then the power of SAO is growing. Wear this Buddha sign. This is the place to pray. If you touch the land, you still remember Amitabha Buddha. Suddenly hit us, it's still a prayer. About the Western world. Excited to want to do this. What is it like to say there's no special ability? It's just a habit. Practice becoming a habit of remembering Buddha's thoughts. How to make power grow? Karma is wasted. What is career? My career is my thinking. My actions, my words. There is good karma and evil karma. We choose what? What karma do we choose? The karma of remembering the Buddha. Whether or not they are born depends on. At the time of our near death, what do we think first? according to karma. As the master is the master, 10th or 12th of the Pure Land, he said, do not ask if there is a death or not. Don't ask where we're going when we die. We know ourselves. In normal everyday life, we think what we weigh, what we plant. What's in our minds is heavy. The time of death, according to that karma, goes to be born. Person or field see, or angry, follow that career. Lost in hell or selfish greed. It is by virtue of that profession that the devil is hungry. Or obsessive stupidity without distinction of right and wrong. What do you do when you share evil sins? As animals. So we remember the Buddha every day. We recite the Buddha. What do we remember Buddha for? Life depends on karma. How is the career? We follow that karma and we are born. About that world. So, we see that recitation of the Buddha. Very, very important about us. When we die, if we can't remember the Buddha, we can't recite the Buddha, we don't have the heart to pray. It's extremely dangerous. That's why it's called learning. There's nothing particularly strange. About training this mind. Train this mind to become a seed. A magazine, when you get used to it. Now let's just say what the impurities are. So, these are habits. It's what we do over and over again. Repeated in the infinite past of that life. Sometimes people ask, habit is natural. This makes it familiar. And sometimes they're just born and they're naturally born. And there's something habitual about it. Sometimes we don't know. We don't know what that is. But why is it so? That's the past. We're used to it. And now, for example, now talk that we're used to. If you're used to dancing your feet, it will become familiar. A lot of people say that at the end of the day, relax and share with your hands and feet. It's a feeling of compromise, and I've given up on sharing my learning now. I want to be aggressive. I want something that works to give it vividness. The listener is not sleepy. I say quiet. It's very easy to fall asleep, and that's it, and share, but also dare not share so-called 30 minutes only, except in the case of one of the founders. It's too long. It's too long. Normal. The gaps are not shared for too long. Never share too long. It's a matter of saying just do the self-moral growth. Wear and tear karma. Like the great speakers, our karma comes from our thoughts. From our actions to our words. Now from the evil thing. Evil thoughts. We just need to repeat the evil word. How to say good thoughts? The greatest good in this world is Amitabha Buddha. Amitabha Buddha is his realization that. How much merit is Amitabha Buddha? Blessings and good deeds converge on this Buddha title. Now we take this title of Buddha. The thought is, we are cultivating goodness. God bless us, fostering the enlightenment. Wisdom for us. A deed of Buddha. In which area? Zone H, first floor. Is there a lot of bleeding? The bleeding is too heavy to stop. Then to receive the simple. You just put it. Lie down for a while and get it. Medical equipment up is getting. Stop the bleeding and take it to the medical room with you. Stitch it back. Take the hand and squeeze the place where the blood is. It's sprayed. Let it bleed. She fell. She fainted. She lost too much blood. Yeah. Baby. Well, let her. She sat there and walked by the modern day. Yeah. Leave it alone, and the modern world goes by. Modern travel enlist run through a D-Dar Buddha. Sorry, people, I am currently preaching to you. A woman fell in the toilet, now banging his head bleeding from scalping. Too much blood spray. So, the great enlist there is nothing wrong with sharing. Let's go back to this and get the wrap. It's a great lecture to share with you. Welcome to receive. Please accept it. Amatoba Buddha, welcome back, everyone. I received it earlier. It was 3 o'clock. It must have been 3 o'clock. I can't remember that the retreat is over now. How much to share now? I can't remember where I shared it. Let's talk about the old lady. He swore that he would follow a lecture today. Sir, now we see that living in this environment is so modern. It's clear that it's impermanent. I'm 70 years old, and I just came in today. Banging your head. Spray blood a long time this big. His blood stings. The very blood vessel it stings out. The sky is too high for you to hold. Just ran to the infirmary. His head is bloody and he's all wet. Then you have to shave your head. Shave all your hair and sew it. I was standing by those medical girls. Stop bleeding with back stitching for grandma. Exactly what it's used to. I see you guys do it very quickly. As for myself, it's a little bit. The smell face. It's been too long to smell the blood. Modern stands to about 20 minutes of smelling blood must really be. Modern people are afraid of blood. The modern blood. I fell in love with her and took her away. Bleeding is normal. But the kind of smell of blood it smells like it's coming up on the nose of the Lord. The Lord must also stand stunned and the Lord is afraid. Please sit a little. He's used to seeing you do anything. The medics are quick. That's what your practitioner does. Get used to the practice of reciting the Buddha as well. Back to the matter of stop talking, really don't wait to get old. Don't wait until we are weak. We've come to the Dharma, the public that, the grace, the muscle tomorrow. Now we find the pure method. To find this Buddhist meditation, you have to try hard. You're really saying, but how many times have I told you? Don't let old age recite the Buddha when you, healthy and awake. You know the victory. We do not remember this Buddha's name at Sao. Well, it's useful. What's good for ourselves? Then let's try to do. What we do is that we grow our own to build your life. It's not built for anyone. Don't do it for yourself. I didn't even try. I blame myself, not anyone else. Don't blame others and don't blame God. I blame God for not loving you. Why don't you help me? Why don't I die? Let me not be honest. My mind was lying. How can I have a real heart? Through the sentence, through a process like this morning, it's authentic. He is old and weak now. The great ones up there, great hemostatic, temporary for you. You were kind of like that. But fainting is not really fainting. And then there's no more blood. Tell the brothers to hurry up. Run through the infirmary and sew it up for you. In the morning, but I read it. I don't remember either. In modern times, there is a stage. I've recently seen some students who only know. I love the mysterious magic. I don't know where the basic stuff is. What is the basic technique? What is the basic technique is to change yourself. Is to modify myself. What do we expect? What does the Buddha release? If you want something mysterious, you know the future, know the past. It's not clever. It's become a ghost for us. The Buddha doesn't teach us that. What is the basis of a Buddhist student? What is simple? Know how to fix yourself. Change yourself and see yourself. This place is very important. Through the grandmother's stage but saw. Now wait for old. You know you're stitching for her. His head is bleeding. On the contrary, she said she couldn't stand it. She's stuck. She wants to go to the bathroom. Stand it, guys. You said she can't stand it. Old man. Try to hold back the stitch, not the blood it sprayed raw. But I can't stand it. Now the Japanese say it. Now hurry up. TikTok is now fast. Hurry up and get the pot for you. But now I know that old age is impossible. If it's even a little bit, it's out there. I mean, look at that. Now up there. Patch the wound for you below. I'm sorry, folks. I told you to put your pants down. Now put the potty down. You just went to the bathroom. And up here, they sew for you. Stitch it up and clean your head. Then wipe your face clean, because there's too much blood. It smells bad. You know, when you stitch, you shave a little line. To be called a medical doctor who can stitch. The head is blood. If you get wet, you have to shave. Now wash or shower her. She was too cold at the time. But go away. It's only 4 o'clock in the morning. It's very cold. Above is the price. Down there, P. You see, it's unstable. Old people like that. It's bleeding now. I lost too much blood and asked if I was home. Let me go home, let me go home. You can't tell if you're in the temple or at home. Modern new shoulder clap, modern new Sayadaw Buddha is now in the temple. Listen now, we are reciting the Buddha. Try to recite the Buddha. In the same room, there are girls who are worried. You guys are a plus. The age of is relatively 4. 50 years old is worth your child's age. How old is she this year? Just 1. Out there bleeding. Confused mind, not knowing anything. That's why Japan says, I hope that through today's process, it validates it's close. It's a fall. 1 stroke, 1 we die. Not an accident to come. We know where we're going or not. We know where we're going or not. Ask in the present. In everyday life, what do we think? What career do we create? It is not enough to be born according to karma. We place great emphasis on reciting the Buddha to make prayer a habit and a habit. You know that sometimes we're sick and we suffer. But every day we have the merit of reciting the Familiar Buddha. With the recitation of Buddha, we also remember the Buddha. New edition in It's About the Family, it's about the children. And attached to the old family his house. When vaguely saying, let me come back to you, let me go back to my home, let me go home yet, where am I? I remember my child, I remember my little family. And where it is right now is in the temple. So, that's what happens when you die. It's very important to have a clear mind. If you want to have a clear mind, just recite the Buddha. The name Buddha is the name, enlightenment is wisdom. Every day we grow, nourish the wisdom, enlightenment, the clear mind. Then the final is definitely the clear mind. This woman is new to the room. You guys are in there. You can see it outside the community. They are dedicated to cleaning up for you to carry them. I want you to wear your hair every little bit. You guys are so emotional. Sometimes children are at home. I see it hasn't worked yet. It's really for a mind. I see them as my mother, his parents, his grandparents. I remember that the old, born the West ecstasy. The world is not for me to enjoy. I'm up there and I'm back up there. To rely on the virtue of the Maitreya Buddha. Study with him to train the spiritual mind. Cultivating Bodhi to quickly become a Buddha, level of sentient beings. Remember, the dead are not selfish for themselves. There's a good environment up there. Have good facilities, have good teachers. Teach yourself to quickly become a Buddha. To make sentient beings suffer. Now, before we die, for the people around here, let's love. Be kind to them, be compassionate to them. What is that? The people of the West are ecstatic. What are the ecstatic Westerners? It's a world of pure joy without suffering. We come to people who love each other, bring them joy, and then advise them to recite the Buddha. That's the way it is. I'm a Buddhist reciter. It's more or less a small part of you. Ecstasy residents. You have to have a mind like what an ecstatic Always open your heart to love. They are born. This place is important. What is that? That's your spiritual merit. I studied Theo. Look at your work that I follow. Let us share it here today. I hope you get through the real process. This authentication, you're sharing of all. They have to run away and return. The great minds. The big stars feel so. The great sharing back to you. I hope you make an effort not to let old age recite the Buddha. It is very difficult for you to recite the Buddha in old age. If you want to remember, you don't want to forget, want to let go. How much of a lifetime of attachment and letting go? It's very difficult. I hope you try hard when you are young and sober and wise. Whatever we can do, let's try. It is good to remember 100 words. 1,000 words is good. The heart of 1,000 sentences. A Buddha's title appears. Quang Min Di Do Popular. A Buddha's title appears. The grace and grace we are cultivating. We are cultivating for ourselves. Let the people try their best. Determined diligence. This life is born in the Western world ecstasy. Non-tissue ad do Buddha.